Hello and welcome to the 15th episode of Subscriber Showcase, the series where you get to show off your creations to the rest of the modelling community. Join me in this video as I take a look at some of my recent submissions. Hi, I'm Matt and you're watching Model Minutes. So, the 15th episode of Subscriber Showcase. When I first started this series off back in the early days of the channel, I never anticipated that I would get this far. And lo and behold, I've actually been inundated with submissions. So if you haven't seen yours yet, don't worry, I've still got it safely stored away and it will get shown at some point. But let's crack on with the first submission. Here we've got a Dapol plastic kit of the 6100 class Prairie Tank from Connor. He says he loves trains and he was inspired by one of the videos I made on my channel. He says he thinks the kit was quite easy to build, apart from the side rods which were a little fiddly, and I had a very similar issue with mine. I couldn't get it to turn quite properly, and he says he ended up making his stationary as well. He used Humbrol enamel on this kit, which was the first time using it, and he found it quite hard as it's quite thick, yes. Enamels tend to be quite thick, and I find you have to thin them with something like white spirit just to make sure that they dry quicker and doesn't leave brush strokes as it does dry. He says he used some pastels to create weathering effects on the model, as a lot of locomotives in the 60s, and this is the time period the locomotive is depicting, were quite dirty and run down before they were finally withdrawn from service and replaced by diesels, so they weren't really looked after. He says for the first time doing some heavy weathering, he thinks it turned out quite well. And a second Dapol kit has been sent in, which is a cattle wagon. He said it was a little difficult in some places, such as the doors, but he thinks it turned out quite well and he's quite happy with it. He added some light weathering to this and he'd like to make some more in the future, such as the 9F and the schools. I think you've done a great job of these models. I've built both of these, I think. Maybe not the cattle wagon, I've built the other van, and you can find that somewhere on my channel. I built it when I first started out. The Prairie Tank, I've done the same kit, but I think yours certainly looks more weathered than mine. Mine was in more or less a pristine black condition. But for a first go, I think that you've done a fantastic job. The only thing I found with the wagon when I built that is that it didn't run quite properly on track. So it's something I'd have to look at if I was going to use them as actual running pieces of rolling stock. But thank you very much, Connor, for sending those in. They look great. Up next, we've got two submissions from Elliot. The first one is a battleship diorama, and you can see he's done a great job of getting a water effect on his base there. I'm not sure how close these two ships would have come to each other in real life during a battle, but I think it looks very exciting. The next little diorama he sent in is a crashed P-51 Mustang with a BF-109 doing a sort of victory flyby, indicating that he's been shot down by him. And this looks really good. I particularly like the trees and the use of the hills and the sort of hedges you've got going on there. So that's something that I'd like to do more of in the future on my channel, little dioramas and little scenes with my models. So thank you for giving me some inspiration. Make sure you let Elliot know what you think of his little dioramas in the comments below. Up next, we've got a Airfix Provost T1 from John. So I've actually built one of these on my channel before, and I used the included paint, and I found that paint to be incredibly difficult to use, and it resulted in really thick brush strokes being left on the model, even if you thin it, because it just was horrendous. But I think John has actually done a better job of getting the paint on than I did. Generally, this is a very nice looking model. Small thing maybe for the future would be to look at painting your canopy lines, but overall it's been very well built and very well painted, and the decals have been applied quite neatly as well. So thank you very much for sending that one in. Jordan has sent us in two submissions. The first one is a P-51, and it's got a very nice silver representation of the bare aluminium and the checker boxes on the nose. I'm not sure if that's a decal. It must be a decal because I certainly couldn't get mine painted like that, but that one's been applied really well. His second submission is a Spitfire, and it looks to be a Mark I version, but he's done it in his own unique paint scheme. At least I think it's unique. It's got silver fuselage, it's got the sort of late Battle of Britain camouflage on the wings, and the two-tone identification of early Spitfires on the underside. I think makes it look very interesting and it makes it stand out, and I particularly like the red and the white on the nose spinner. It looks like you had a lot of fun doing this one, and that's what it's about, isn't it? It's about having fun with your builds. Up next we've got Oliver, and he's got a YouTube account, and I will make sure I'll link it underneath. He's been building some Perry miniatures 28mm British infantry. He doesn't use them for wargaming, he's just interested in the American War of Independence, and he decided to get some models to build from that time period. He says the construction was quite easy. There are 6 parts to each model, and it gives you options of the different pose, so you can change the arms and things like that. It also gives you the options of the different type of infantry, so you can get line infantry, light infantry, or slouch hats. The moulding is absolutely fantastic, and he would recommend them to anyone who is interested in modelling military history. The figures are currently a work in progress, and from left to right you've got the 35th Dorsetshire Regiment, the 62nd Wiltshire Regiment, and the 49th Hertfordshire Regiment. And I think, even though he says they're work in progress, they still look absolutely fantastic. I imagine that if they have more work to be done on them, they're going to look even better. Certainly my figure painting skills are not that good, but perhaps it's something I should do more of in the future. Thank you very much for sending those in. Finally, the last one today is from Paul, and he has sent in his 1/48 scale Academy BF 109G2, and he says it's his first 1/48 scale model, but he's quite proud of it. He did some basic chipping and added a few bullet holes, but nothing too over the top. The paint scheme is semi-realistic, it's missing a white stripe though. The choice of number isn't realistic apparently, he just used what he thought looked best. And to be honest, if you're happy with your builds at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. I know some people really enjoy making absolutely historically accurate miniatures of certain vehicles, and if that's what you like to do, then fair enough. But if you're like me and you just like having fun, then you should feel absolutely fine in doing that. There are a few little areas of improvement that you could work on, but that will come with practice. So a massive thank you to Paul and to everyone who has already sent their submissions in. Like I said at the beginning of the video, if you've sent something in, it will get shown at some point. I've just got a lot of different submissions to get through. And here's how you can get involved and display your models to the community. Number 1, you must be subscribed to my channel, as it's a subscriber showcase. 2, you can email modelminutes@hotmail.com any high quality pictures, video, text or audio of your work. If you're going to send something in, please send in information about the model kit as well, because otherwise I'm going to have to try and guess what it is that you've sent me, but if you send that in, then I'll know exactly what you've done. Alternatively, if you're on my Discord, I have a Discord channel exclusively for subscriber showcase submissions. And finally, number 3, wait for the video featuring your work to go live. I'm currently working at about 1 subscriber showcase video a month at the moment. I would like to do more, but again, it's down to the amount of time I have to do editing. As always, honourable mention to my patrons over on Patreon, whose invaluable support allows me to continue to make videos for you all to see. To find out more about what pledging support gets you, including early access to videos and other perks such as behind the scenes stuff, take a look at the links in the description. Additionally, you can connect with me on social media. Like I said, I'm on Discord, I'm also on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. All that's left to say is thanks for watching, and I'll see you all on the workbench again next time.